special report on spoofing. You may have never heard of it, but it's something that could put your phone and personal information at risk. You've likely gotten several unwanted calls, but what if we told you your number could be used to make those calls and there's nothing you can do about it? Erika Stanish has the story tonight of a local man who's received threatening callbacks from someone he says he never called in the first place.
That's right. We found this happens more often than you might think. The man we talked with is a victim of spoofing and claims someone used his number to call and target others. People hoping to gain personal or financial information from anyone who answers. And as you're about to hear, it can lead to the spoofing victim getting threats from those who were targeted.
Hello?
Spoofing.
What's happening is people are spoofing other people's number and my number.
The FCC says it's a way to trick or target people, ultimately to gain personal information and sometimes use it against them. This man says that's what's happening to him. Someone using his number to call others. Some are in the Johnstown area.
Then all of a sudden I started getting return phone calls from numbers within my same exchange. Saying I called, what did I want?
He didn't want to be identified because he says his safety could be compromised, and he has a threatening voicemail to prove it.
And then you're trying to get me to scam it again about my credit cards, which I don't have.
One caller so upset and frustrated, they called the number back and left this threatening message.
If you call me again, I will trace your down and I will put a bullet in front of you.
But the unidentified man tells us he also understands what it's like to get those unsolicited calls.
You said he didn't know.
That I have no idea who that phone number is. That's one coming in now.
He says he's learned to just let the phone ring. We were able to track the man down who left that voicemail, and he says he receives hundreds of unwanted calls all the time, but says he knows it's spoofing.
I never called the guy. That was the strange part, that he called back at a later time and made the threatening phone call. So why he would ever do that when he understands, I don't understand.
He says the police talked to the man who made the threat to explain the situation. The police say no charges were filed and that it was a misunderstanding. So what can you do to protect yourself and your phone number from spoofing? I talked to the FCC, who says, unfortunately, they don't have a solution.
At this point, there isn't a lot that we can do.
Ryan Altamore works for a locally owned premium retailer for Verizon. He says options are slim when it comes to protecting your phone number, and changing it isn't always a solution either.
We get asked the question a lot of, what if I change my phone number? But they can just randomly pick any phone number that's local, that's an 814 number, so there's nothing stopping them from just taking your new phone number and using that to spoof.
The FCC says consumers being spoofed should go on their website and file a complaint, though a spokesman told me on the phone it won't help in the short term.
What options did they give you?
None. No options at all.
The FCC spokesman says spoofing can happen to anyone. He says when numbers are chosen, it's done randomly. Verizon retailers say they see it happening more often.
We've had a handful of people come in each week. We've also had people just calling on the phone saying, hey, this is what's going on. Is there any way that I can stop it?
The FCC says it's looking for long-term solutions, but current technology makes it easier and cheaper to spoof.
This is an example of what you, me, anybody else can do. Go online and I can buy credits. I can get 45 minutes of call time for $10. What that does is that allows me to go in, get a card where I can display any number I want to make it look like it's coming from that number. It can be my next door neighbor doing it, or it could be someone overseas. And that's where the problem is, trying to track it down and correct the problem.
Right now, we don't know how they're spoofing it, or at least we haven't heard how exactly they're doing it, so that's the people are asking, well, how are they doing it? And we're like, we have no idea. I don't know if it's a machine that's doing it. I don't know if they have some type of computer that's doing it. So I think that's part of the problem too. They don't know how to stop it because they don't know exactly how they're doing it yet.
And while some continue to get unwanted calls,
So the amount of calls you're getting now compared to 6 months ago is much higher.
Yes, this particular statement here, there's probably 4 pages of phone calls. Normally, my statement would probably only be 1 page.
Others just hope it will soon go away.
So eventually I think that they'll discontinue using your phone number and just kind of move on if they're not having any luck with that.
Do I hope it stops? Yeah. Do I expect it to? Not really. Not until something else is done to correct the issue.
Erika Stanish, 6 News.